I'm Erin Spinagle here today at Musselman Middle School. Join me today as we learn about some of the teachers here at the home of the Applemen on this edition of Be the Difference, West Virginia. We're here with Myrtle Holland. She teaches 8th grade math and Math 1-8 here in Musselman Middle. Hi Myrtle, how are you?
Good, I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
Tell me a little about yourself.
Well, I have been teaching for about 30, I think this is my 34th year. I'm in my 34th year. And about 27 have been here at Musselman Middle School. I have 3 sons, and 2 of them are married, and 2 of them went through Marshall, and then I have a middle son who went through Blue Ridge. And my husband is principal here. I'm actually from Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh area. I went to school at Edinburgh University, where I got my secondary math. And then I have a master's from WVU and admin. And I'm a nationally board certified teacher. I'm also vice president of middle school for the WVCTM.
So what made you decide to become a teacher?
I've always wanted to be a teacher since I can remember. My mother had a friend who was a teacher, and so she would come over and talk to my mother, and I would grade her papers for her. And I really didn't decide that I wanted to become a math teacher until I was actually in college. For my high school math teacher, his name is Ross Garcelli, said, "Why don't you become a math teacher?" I'm like, "No, I don't think so." So I went one whole semester or so, in social work, and decided I want to be a teacher. So.
Well, tell me about your classroom. How do you get your students excited about learning math?
Well, at the beginning of the year, as long as I've had students, my students always sit in tables. So they, before sitting in groups was a thing. My students sat in groups because I considered that, more than one brain was a good thing, for students to, because people are relational, and they, talking to each other and talking things out is helpful. Then we start talking about not hearing that thing where I can't do math, I don't like math, and we talk about mathematics is not just computation. Mathematics is in everything, and how everyone can do math, And I just told my students, just because you're not a fluent, computator, does not mean you cannot do mathematics. Because a lot of people out there do these jobs, these fantastic jobs that I couldn't do using mathematics, but think that they can.
What's an activity that you do with your students, or a lesson that you do that it really helps your students see how math is applicable to everyday life?
Well, one activity that I found was for my Math 1-8 students, they have to learn about exponential growth and decay. And so what I did was I found this activity where they form a business and they make investments. And they have all kinds of things that they invest in, and they roll die to find out how much money they're going to actually invest. And then they use their calculator to grow it, and after 20 years they see how much money that they could possibly earn or by their investments. And then there's also another activity that goes along with it, which is where they have they buy items that depreciate in value, like cars, trucks, computers, those hard things. And so they use the formulas to depreciate those, and they see over a length of time what those depreciate to be. This activity actually showed me a lot of things that kids really don't understand, things that depreciate, So it taught, that lesson actually taught me a lot about what they know about, a business, and what things, grow, and what things
often as teachers, our day continues long after the students leave. How are you involved in your students' lives or the community outside of the traditional school?
And my church home is really in Martinsburg, so I'm a youth leader there. And so, when county groups get together, we do soup kitchen on Saturdays. Our church does a soup kitchen on Saturday, and so about 4 or 5 times a year, a group of us, man that and supply hot meals for the homeless and those who are in need on Saturdays. Yeah, I tutor kids. I attend dances and games and things like that to become involved. And a lot of my students go to the high school, so I keep track of what goes on there. And plus, my own sons went through the school, so that's how I keep.
What are some ways that you help your parents, or that parents can stay on top of what their student is learning in math, or just in general?
With the change in the standards, a lot of parents ask me, are they getting the same thing that they need? And I just tell parents, you really need to go to the Common Core site and look at that, because there's been a lot of bad press about Common Core standards. And if you look at the standards, or the CSOs, the objectives that our students are learning, they're right in line with where they should be. And over time, even though there will be some gaps, over time, their students will be better prepared to become career and college ready.
But after seeing a lot of changes and being involved in so many lives of students in this area, what's one thing that you wish the public understood about the teaching profession?
Over the last 30 years, we have more demands on us, and unfortunately sometimes we're the parent, we're the counselor, healthcare provider, we're all these things besides teachers. The stress level is higher than it really ever has been. But most people that want to be teachers, like I've always wanted to be a teacher, okay, understand that, and though some of us grumble, we still see a purpose for what we do, and our purpose is a big one, because with any business, our client, okay, our students, our clients are people, and we want to provide a well-rounded education. We want to provide for those students to become good citizens, become good thinkers, become people that are going to support our country, and we work very hard at that. And I would also tell anybody, I've heard teachers say that if my son or daughter wanted to be a teacher, I would tell them no. If my son or daughter wanted to be a teacher, I'd tell them yes, because teaching is a very rewarding, hard job, but it's very rewarding. And anybody that wants to be a teacher should be a teacher.
We're here with Lisa Beeson. She teaches 8th grade math here at Musselman Middle, and she's just been named the 2013-14 math teacher for middle school in West Virginia.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Lisa.
Nice to meet you too, Mary.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name's Lisa Beeson. I graduated from Lewis County High School in 1990. I went to Marshall to become a teacher. Before that, I kind of wanted to be an astronaut or accountant. And then I was working with Math Field Day as like a high school helper. And I was in a room of 4th graders by myself. And we were just kind of at the end of the testing, and I was just entertaining them. And I just loved it, and I thought, that's kind of what I want to do. But I graduated from Marshall in 1994, and then I went to teach at a private school in Clarksburg, West Virginia called Notre Dame High School. Did that for 8 years, and then I moved to Martinsburg and started teaching at Musselman. I've been here for 10 years. I did 7th grade for a while, and now I do 8th grade.
Tell me, and you mentioned about Math Field Day helping you decide you want to become a teacher. What other things about the teaching profession made you decide that was for you?
It's really kind of hard, I think. If you ask some people why they're a teacher, I mean, some of the obvious things, like my brother became a pharmacist because it paid a lot, and he was good at science. To be a teacher, I just really like that interaction with kids, because they're just so, it's not, I don't want to say a blank canvas and I can fill them with anything I want, but they're just so not set in their ways, and they're just fun to work with. And I knew I wanted to be a teacher, and then to decide what I wanted to teach, I was like, well, I'm good at math, so I'm going to be a math teacher.
Tell me about some of the things that your students learn in your classroom, and how do you get them engaged and excited about
starting volume, and the kids usually like it because it's more 3D and they can kind of play with it a little bit more. You know, portions where we can go outside and there's an activity where you can do the shadows and show them that their shadow and their height is proportional to the flagpole and its height. Each group of kids, each year, each class period, they're all different. They're all different personalities. Some things will work second period, they're not even going to work seventh period or fifth period. So it's so adaptive.
What's a favorite lesson or favorite unit that you do with your students?
I love doing proportions with them because they can see how it works, and sometimes you can actually bring those practical applications in, like if you needed to measure distance, but you didn't actually have, you know, you couldn't actually measure it, but you could use clues around you.
A lot of students have math anxiety. I remember when I was in school that math was not my favorite subject. So there's lots of students who get frustrated when they're learning something new or have to master something that's going to be a little bit more difficult. How do you work to calm students about that and to help them see that they can enjoy and get a lot out of what they're learning in math?
Part of it is my personality. I'm pretty easygoing, but I always start off the first day of the first year, I'm like, how many of you hate math and you want to hurt me or embarrass me, or, you know, I don't care if you like it or not. And, you know, most of the kids will raise, and they don't like math, they're afraid of math, they never had success in math. So you just have to show them that, you know, it's okay, not everybody's perfect. I mean, I make mistakes on the board all the time, and I'm like, ugh, and then but it's good because they can see that I'm human, it's fallible. But I think with them, you have to have a good rapport with your students.
Sometimes along with that math anxiety, we have parents that don't understand or know, especially with all the changes that have been made to the standards, what their students are learning in math. What are some ways that parents can keep up or understand what's going on in their students' classroom?
We do get that a lot. You know, the first meet and greet, parents will come in like, I'm terrible at math, I don't understand new math, I just terrible at math myself. Their kid gets it honestly. There are a lot of programs now that are available online. You know, some people don't have internet, but if they do, there are so many different free tutorial sites like Khan Academy, LearnZillion. I mean, those are just two that I know of, where if you don't understand a concept, if your kid's struggling, you can go and you pop up a video and it'll walk them through it, and then it'll give them practice.
What is a misconception about the teaching profession that you wish you could clear for the public?
The only data the public gets is one data set, one day for one child's life, and that's not a testament to their learning. It's not a testament to who that child is. There's a lot behind education other than a statistic, and I think people only see the statistic, and cutting funding for education is not going to help it.
That's all for this edition of Be the Difference West Virginia. Join me next time as we learn more about the teachers here in beautiful Berkeley County. Until then, I'm Erin Spinagle reminding you to be different, but more importantly, be the difference. I'll see you soon.